We've all seen the pumpkin carving kits at the store. Maybe you have one back tucked away somewhere. Sometimes, though, they break. Even the good ones break. You don't need all of that to get the job done. In fact, you've got the tools right there in your own kitchen. We've got Joseph Rueter. He's the owner of the local knife shop called Vivront. I don't know if I said that right. He's doing us some ideas how to use what you have, but also safely use what you have. Because some of your not all knives are created equal. Yours are like next level.
No. Yeah. I mean, these are entry level. You're at like 30, 40 bucks. Like it's not. They don't have to be crazy, and we care for all range of knives available.
And you probably don't want to use your super nice knives for pumpkin carving, or do you?
Yeah, the big ones are actually hard to turn.
Right.
Like if it ends up really tall, you might want to optimize for control. Like we know sharp, but we also know dull because we see all the dull around.
It's true.
And at this time of year, we've got 2.5 million households in Minnesota with dulling knives and a whole bunch of pumpkins to carve. So if your knife starts to bounce off that food, right, it's time to sharpen it. And it'll just be easier if you optimize for control. So for smaller work, pick the smaller ones.
So you carved all of these with just knives?
I'm not yet a pumpkin carving champion.
Okay. So somebody else did.
But I optimized the children in my household.
Hey kids, I got a project.
So they wanted to do your logo, your big logo, and that would be pretty tricky on a standard knife. So you can, if you're going to do stuff on the outside, paint them and so forth, find tools that are like hooks, right? Or use
those look much better than the kind of cheapo ones you can buy at checkout at the grocery stores, which I purchased.
Have been. We have some of these cheap ones at the store too.
Those look nicer to me than what I had.
And a pin like this, if you were to print your logo, and then you can pin it and then take your paper off and trace it, right? You can do that small work on the tips of your knives, and what I would say, like you would with baseball, you're going to want to kind of choke up and work with just the small part, right? If you're going to do small work, it's for the tips. Yeah. Smaller stuff.
Sure. Patience.
But like, I don't know, put a podcast on, some music you really like, breathe deep, right? Slow down. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. With knives, you don't have to go fast until you build that competence.
That's probably my problem. I just don't have patience. How about when it comes to where we should be carving? Like, should we be like on the ground where we have more control, or like up on a stool? Like, does that matter?
As I age, my knees don't work well on the ground. So. Here's that's a good question. If you pick a pumpkin that's rolly, you're making it harder on yourself. So when you're at the patch, you're selecting your work of art, the medium, as it were. Pick one that's flatter, and then we get out the big pans, the big trays, and just work on a tray. Now, there's some tricks around this. You can use a wet towel or paper towel, or we use canning jar lids under. If it's under a cutting board, if it's under your larger pan.
Just to steady it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you've got seeds going everywhere. They're really lovely if you damp them off and stick them in a 350-degree oven. We've got a recipe on the website for that and some of these tips and tricks there. But also, like, you don't want them everywhere. The dog might get excited about it, though.
That's true.
You have so much there. Yeah, we always put ours on top of newspaper, which then does move all over the place.
That
makes sense.
Okay, you talked about dull knives, and Shane and I were saying about this before the segment, definitely guilty. Is there, like, yes, if it's bouncing off the food, it's time to, it's very clear they're dull, but are there things to look for if you're like, I'm not sure if they're dull? Do I need to sharpen them? Are there kind of some tricks and tips? Tips and tricks? Sure. You know
it's going to be tricksy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't bring the guilt and shame to dull. Right, on the knives.
Appreciate that.
It's kind of like your shoes go dull. Right, you wear them, and then when you're done, you get new ones. What's awesome about this is that you don't need to. A knife that's dull is just not going to be able to print or cut printed paper. You can push, but hear it. Ripping, right? Whereas the sharp ones are in a totally different place. If you can cut some kind of an S, it's not going to fight you. And I don't know, like, there's plenty of fights in the kitchen. I don't need to make it with the food, right? Yeah.
You don't need an extra fight.
No, reduce the fights.
Reduce the fights. Any other tips? Like, you got some pens here, so you draw ahead of time? Does that help?
Yeah, you know, the permanent markers might be what you want because it's high contrast and you want a bunch of light and you're going to make it easy. If you grab these Expos, they'll like rub off really easily. So you can follow your marks and then just rub them off.
Yeah.
So,
you don't want the highlight.
I've done the permanent one too, and you miss it, and then it's very obvious that you're like, oh, I drew that with a black marker, and I didn't quite get it.
Suddenly it has to be a bigger design.
Exactly.
Yes,
Suddenly the eyes become very big. Joseph, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Again, where can people find your shop?
We're at 50th in France, and if you're not headed there to get your knives sharpened, you can go to any Kowalski store, and we have our Sharp House shipping kits there to make that easy.
Cool. Good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.